From Sky News, student stabbed to death with extremely large knife after night out with football team in Southampton, court told. Right then, this one's been doing the rounds on social media today. Disgraceful, shocking, staggering incident. But I don't want to sound like I'm making light of it. But if you pay attention and you read the papers every day and you get your news from alternative media like most of my viewers do, then this isn't a surprise. This is bog standard, par for the course. It's been happening for years. For years. And further to what I was talking about yesterday, in every single country in the Western world, it's not just in England, you do remember the Afghan fella ending the life of a German copper because the German copper turned his back to the knife wielder in order to arrest the white guy. You do remember that, don't you? I don't need to show you the picture again. So this is par for the course. Carl Benjamin made a great video about it. He can cover the serious political aspects. I'm going to do what I do best, which is flip my lid and go mental about it and crack a few jokes. Because that's all we've got left. You have to laugh at the chaos. Anyway, I'll read you the story, add some details that he missed, and then point out one big elephant in the room that he didn't talk about, which is when he was going through all of these different incidents that prove beyond any doubt at all that the British state and the police are dead set against you because of these racist laws, and Enoch Powell was right, and the foreign chap most definitely does have the whip hand, he never once mentioned, this one from Laurie Wastel at The Spectator. Why weren't the diddler gangs treated as race hate crimes? Well, I think we all know the answer to that, Laurie. So I'll walk you through what happened, have a pop at everybody who deserves it, and then get to this, because The Spectator, God bless them, in their own wet, centrist way, did attempt to point out the obvious. But I think I can do a better job of it. Right, this story's disgraceful, but it's par for the course. It's par for the course. As I've said to you lot dozens of times, if you let them get away with abusing children and torturing them for decades, why are they going to care when an 18-year-old lad gets it? I mean, he's a grown man. Surely there's nothing worse than stabbing an 18-year-old lad to death for no reason. Well, no, actually there are, yeah. Torturing little girls to death is worse, but we were all right with that. So why would the government care about this? Carl missed a few details as well. It's way worse than you'd think this. It's basically a race hate murder is what it is. These claims of religious exemptions are completely preposterous. Allow me to demonstrate. So, pot-bellied foreign parasite denies murder and denies carrying a knife in public. This is where it's funny. This is where you might have thought, well, maybe he used them little ceremonial knives to carry on a bit of string around the neck and maybe like got lucky and like hit him in the jugular or something. No, his knife was longer than Mo Farah's cock. Right, and he's a Somalian fella who weighs about 6 stone, so you can imagine what his piece looks like. It's unbelievable. And his mother did what they all do. You remember that Labour mayor who's been done for assisting her son getting away with it because they have this weird honour code and your little brown-haired boy can do nothing wrong. They all do it. Of course, she's denied assisting the offender. Here's the victim, just a kid. 18-year-old. Why would an 18-year-old pick a fight with a grown-ass man who's 5 years older than him with a big beard and carrying a foot-long knife? Why would he do that? Well, he wouldn't do it. So that answers your question. The student was stabbed to death with an extremely large Shasta knife. Basically, it's a massive knife, not a little one on a string. All he was doing was walking his way home after a night out, and he was on his phone doing a bit of Snapchatting because he's a kid, a nice innocent kid who didn't deserve to get his life ended by a pot-bellied import who thinks this is perfectly acceptable because it's normal behaviour in the worst places on earth. Alright? He was caught on phone footage saying, "I'm a bad man," as 18-year-old Henry Nowak sent Snapchat videos to his friends. Prosecutor Nicholas Lobenberg said Digwer was carrying an extremely large knife openly displayed over his clothing, which he used to stab the student to death. He said as well as the 21 centimetre, so just shy of a ruler. You know, your bog standard school ruler's 30. So massive knife weapon of death, but he's allowed it because he's foreign, don't you know? And like Enoch said, they've got the whip hand. As well as his implement of murder, he also had a little knife round his neck under his clothing. Sikhism obliges male followers of the faith to carry and wear certain items. These include a wooden comb, a metal bangle, and what is called a kirpan, a ceremonial knife. Who cares? Who cares? So let's just say, I've had enough of beating around the bush, right? I don't care about the great juju under the mountain. I don't care about bule 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 up in the tree. I couldn't give a monkey's fart. Why do we even entertain these ridiculous delusions? Richard Dawkins, a man who I admired, God forgive me, spent 40 years ripping the piss out of the Christians. And we loved it, didn't we? We couldn't get enough of it. But when something's foreign, because under this commie, cultural, Marxist bollocks that they all love, when something foreign turns up, ooh, that's automatically good. The faith that made York Minster marvellous, works of true beauty, Michelangelo, the Sistine Chapel, stained glass, York Minster, St Paul's Cathedral, that's all shite. That come from the West. We don't like anything the West do. The great juju under the mountain, that's what we like. Look. A monkey's skull rolled in dog shit and put on a stick. That's marvellous. That's a wonderful treasure, a religious icon. To the Ubuntu people, oh yeah, we love that. Throw it in a skip. Throw it in a skip, get rid of this shit. Wooden comb, metal bangle and a kirpan. What, is Santa Claus bringing you them, is he? Why do we even pay this shit any mind? Metal bangles and wooden combs. Harry Bastard Potters for children. I know that's going to be controversial to the juvenile dickheads watching this. The embarrassing cringe 48-year-old men who wear NHS specs and cavort around on a broom shank, spewing out gibberish and talking about wizardry and butterbeer. Listen, you sad bastard. It's a kid's book. It's all for children. If you're carrying around wooden combs and metal bangles because you think you cast a magic spell, you're a knobhead. I don't care. I don't care about your stupid juvenile beliefs. If Dawkins can rip the piss out of the foundations of Western society for 40 years, then I'm sorry, I should be allowed to rip the piss out of the endless collection of hocus pocus Tinker-style jibber-jabber that this shit is. I mean, honestly, a metal bangle and a wooden cup. I can't get over that. How come Richard hasn't wrote any books about this dumb shit? Unbelievable. Sorry, bit of a rant that. The small kirpan satisfies any religious obligation. Of course it does. So even if we paid attention to the hocus-pocus mumbo-jumbo, spin round 5 times and say alakazoo, alakazoo, and then your ancestors will guide you into your missus when you've had too many beers on Diwali or whatever dumb shit this is. Even if you did care about any of that, which I definitely don't, we've established that, the daft little 1-inch one round his neck satisfies it. So don't give me religious exemptions. It was an act of cold-blooded murder and he wants 70 years in jail for it. Breaking rocks, hard labour, or better yet, Rupert, give us the referendum and allow me to fire 40,000 volts through his nutsack. That'll work. That'll work. I'm happy with that. I'll even provide my own electricity. Hook my Peloton up to a dynamo. I'll pedal for a month if you'll just grant me the joyous pleasure of blasting his plums into outer space. Digweed denies murder and carrying a knife. Course he does. His mum, course she does. Course she did. Mr. Nowak, bless him, was basically sober. He could still drive. He's obviously far more responsible than I was when I was 18. God love him. And the video found on his phone, which was discovered in Digweed's pocket. So not only did he stab him, he robbed him. Because of course he did. Of course he did. First thing you do if you you might as well pinch the phone. In for a penny, in for a pound, eh, Mr. Digweed? The prosecutor then told the court at midnight, Henry was dead, fatally stabbed by Vikram Digweed, using a foot-long knife that he shouldn't have had in the first place. Digweed also said he would be, oh, there we go, and here he is playing the race card. He said he'd been racially abused and attacked by a drunken man. Yeah, course he was. We've established he was sober, knobhead. We've got forensics in the West. We know how much he had to drink. He was capable of driving. So don't give me that. Henry protested that he hadn't attacked Digwer and he'd been stabbed. But you know what the police did? Well, of course they handcuffed Whitey. Of course they did. Because the bloke walking round with 2 knives had a bit of a tan. So he's allowed, and he's the good guy, and the teenager is the villain of the day. Of course he is. The court heard he had 4 stab wounds and a cut to his jaw, 2 of the wounds into the back of his legs. Just butchered him like an animal. And that is appalling. So that's me raged for the weekend. Happy with that. I'm only happy when I'm pissed off. On to the next one. I'm going to blast through this quickly because I'm not that interested. The Spectator's far too wet for me. But Laurie Wastel makes a good point. She's talking about the inquiry, which will be another cover-up. We've had about 10 already. But this few sentences here sums it all up perfectly without me needing to bore you. It says, but if the inquiry is aiming to look at systemic and institutional failures around these issues, there is one problem. Its terms of reference do not mention that has long been staring the justice system in the face. Given these offences are widely understood to be the worst set of race hate crimes Britain has ever seen, why have they never been treated by the justice system as racially or religiously aggravated? And you don't need to read the rest because she's typically wet with it. I'll tell you why. We know that in every single instance, they spat racist abuse at the victims. Vitriolic, hateful abuse. Every name you can think of, every ignominy we can think of, every disgusting slur you can throw at a young girl, they used. And nobody ever got charged with any racially aggravated crimes, which is why Sam Mellier did more time in jail for politely worded stickers than some of the worst sex offenders in the British Isles. Why? Well, you already know why. If you watch this channel and listen to Carl Benjamin, you already know why. The British government, the treacherous snakes in Parliament, the self-serving scum-sucking ratbags that you call your representatives, your local MP, mostly pointless. That's what that should stand for, mostly pointless. The treasonous scumbags have made it the full force of the law to lionise the alien, the criminal, the migrant, and crush your neck between their iron-shod boots in the desperate quest to make the entire planet one gigantic beige shithole. Okay, that's about the size of it. If you disagree with anything I've said, please, if you can break free from your straitjacket and get to a laptop, type something down there for me to split my sides laughing at. Because if you do, you're completely off your tits. Definitely. I'll put links down there for these. You can read them both yourself, get angry, and most importantly, which is, I put it on my Twitter today, stay fit. Look at that puddle under my bike. If it's not that damp when you get off it, you're just sitting on furniture. Do some work. Stay fit. I'm telling you, your life and the lives of your wives and children depend on it. You need to be strong. You need to be fit. You need to be capable of looking after yourself. Refuse to be a victim because nobody's coming to help you. The police will assist your killer. The government will do the same. Put down the Cheetos, go for a jog, get your fat ass off the couch and lift some weights, because I'm telling you, you're going to want some gas in the tank for what may happen to you walking through any British city in this day and age. All right? That's me for the day. I'll be doing a stream in a couple of hours, so I'll see you all there. Thanks for tuning in. If you don't tune in, have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Cackle maniacally at the chaos. And if you're going to get pissed, at least go for a run beforehand. All right? Thanks for tuning in. See you all soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.